morning. It's Monday, September 16th. Thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. We're bringing you all the news, announcements, and events, along with a couple of special guests. I'm Dr. Amy Tan, Dean of HCC's English and Communications, with Dr. Nicholas Cox, our History Department Chair. I'm happy to be here this morning on this bright, sunny day. Nick, how are you doing?
That's right. It's great to see you again. It's maybe been a week or two.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of impromptu traveling, but it's all good. But we are live on HCCTV whenever HCC is in session. But how can people find us?
That's right. We are live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page also, and on YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Thank you for that. For Mental Health Monday, we're going to talk about sexual violence, and we're going to learn about campus red zones. And for that, we are joined by Maya DeConge, who is the outreach and education advocate for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Good morning, Maya.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing well. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Well, welcome to the show. And we will be with you in about 10 minutes after we hear from our first guest and from Nick.
All right. Well, thank you. And we'd like to welcome Dr. Terri Blackmon to the show. She is the founder of the Scholarly Café, as well as an HCC biology professor. Dr. Blackmon, welcome. Oh, I think we lost your audio
Good
there.
morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for having me this morning. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing wonderful. Let me ask you a quick question before we dive in and talk details. What is the Scholarly Cafe, and why did you decide that HCC needed this?
The Scholarly Cafe is a welcoming, collaborative space for students, faculty, and staff. The reason why I felt HCC needed this because it doesn't exist here. And so it just creates a space that's beyond the classroom so students can come grab a sip of coffee, build some community, listen to some music, and enjoy themselves. And so that's something that I appreciated when I was a student in college. So I said, hey, let's have this at HCC as well.
Well, I would just like to add that here at the WHI, where the Scholarly Cafe is located, that since its opening, it has certainly made the ground floor lobby much more lively place with students, activities, events, and gatherings. And, coming out of COVID in 21, 22, that space was fairly empty. And now with that cafe there, it's much more vibrant. So it's working. Um,
Awesome.
so another question for you, before we talk a bit about the cafe's resources, tell us about the event that's going to be at the cafe tomorrow morning.
Oh, yes, I'm super excited about that event. It's the first semesterly event that we're hosting. It's called the Resource Rally. And so, just as the name implies, it's going to be an opportunity for students to come and get resources that are going to aid in their academic development here. So, it's mostly a lot of tools for a lot of study tools, study aids. So, they'll be able to walk away with an academic planner, and they'll also be able to receive some QR codes that they can place on that planner that links them to different academic resources that HCC provides and other study tips and tools and resources that they may already be aware of and familiar with, but some also tools and resources that they may not be. And so it'll just be right there when they're using their academic planner, they can use their phone and scan to go directly to that resource. So we're going to have the academic advisors there that are going to help them identify their advisors, who their individual advisors are. We're going to have the ACC community pantry there, some student orgs. It's just going to be a great time for students to connect. And it's a cafe, so of course, they'll be able to indulge in some free snacks and coffee. Everything is free for students, faculty, and staff. We just want them to come and, like you said, create this lively environment that encourages them to want to stay on campus and that they know that they don't have to leave campus in order to go somewhere to get what they need.
No, that's wonderful. And I was going to ask who students might be interacting with besides the cafe itself, the snacks and coffee, but advising, faculty, food resources. That all sounds really great. We wanted to ask, as you plan future events at this Scholarly Cafe, we understand you are trying to integrate both the academic side of the college and the community aspect of the community college. How does that work?
So right now, when it comes to community, we are also partnering in October with an organization called Manners. It stands for Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. So they are doing something called a world tour where they are visiting four-year institutions and community colleges. We are the only community college that's on their tour. And so this particular tour is to encourage middle school and high school students and get them interested into agriculture, natural resources, and related sciences. So that's one event that we're doing when we're partnering with the community. And also, since we are a cafe that serves coffee, we also have a lot of local vendors, coffee vendors that we are working with and inviting them to share their coffee supplies with us so that students can get a different taste around what Houston has to offer with our local coffee vendors.
Oh, those sound like really great events. I'm not surprised to hear that HCC is on that agricultural academic program because we have that program out at the Katy campus. And that would be wonderful for our students, especially those that are doing a 2+2 transfer, because they have a great agricultural program at Prairie View. I was just out there a couple of weeks ago and saw a lot of that, and other schools as well, other four-year schools as well. So you call the Cafe part of a holistic approach to student success. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What do you mean by holistic approach?
The cafe isn't just limited to academics. We have classrooms, we have libraries, and tutoring staff that caters to students in the academic realm. The workshops that I plan on hosting at the cafe will also be workshops for financial literacy, wellness, mental health, career readiness. And so it's developing the whole student and meeting the student for not only academic growth and academic success, but personal growth and personal success as well. So catering and also having fun, jazz nights, poetry slams, things of that nature. It's not just solely academics. It's the whole total student and meeting the student where they are.
Well, for people who haven't been in the space yet, you should know there's a grand piano in there. And as a result, random students and community members are often just playing piano through the hallways. You can hear it most of the day. It's wonderful. So you never know what kind of music you're going to hear on the second floor up through the lobby atrium, but it's very fun. So we just have a couple minutes left, and I want to note that this developed as part of your WHI Innovation Fellows service. Isn't that right? Can you tell us a little bit about the
Yes.
Innovation Fellows?
Yes, I can't believe I just met with them Friday before last, and I was reminded that it's been 2 years since this idea was just a thought that I never thought would happen. I joined Innovation Fellows because I just wanted to learn more. I'm always curious about how I can improve the students' experience here at HCC. And so being there, reading the different materials, and learning, we read one book that had to deal with intersections and discovering where our intersections were. And I've always enjoyed coffee shops. I've always found them very beneficial for me in my learning. And then I'm an educator. So I wanted to figure out, how could I marry the two? How can I marry this welcoming, comfortable, intimate experience that a coffee shop has with education? So that's where the programming aspect for the coffee shop comes from, to marry the two. And this all had to do with Innovation Fellows. And I had no idea that something tangible would come from it. I just wanted to figure out how I could be more innovative in the classroom, what that looks like, and how it can work with my other colleagues, and that we could collaborate and come up with something. So I'm really grateful for Innovation Fellows. I'm grateful that they are there to support us and work with us, give us the resources that we needed. Jordan Carswell, he is amazing. Israel, he's also amazing. They're so supportive. And whatever questions we had, they always pointed us, hey, reach out to this person, get to know this person. They'll help with this idea. So thankful to them, thankful for HCC seeing seeing a vision, accepting the vision and making it happen. I really am grateful. And I'm glad that, like you said, the students are enjoying the space because that's what it was created for. I also enjoy the space. I was just in there the other day working, so I
Well, that
love
is
it.
a really great endorsement of the Innovation Fellows program. I'm certainly sure that Jordan and others involved will be really glad that you shared your experience with our audience. I know this cafe is going to probably keep you a little bit busy in addition to your normal teaching obligations, but innovators rarely have just one idea. What are you percolating right now? What's your future innovation plans?
Making this scalable. I know WHI loves it to have it there, but we can't keep it there. We got to make sure that every student gets this experience. So trying to put it as at many campuses as possible, that will be the next goal. And also try to make it operational where it's the full service experience all day long while the campuses are open and not just for a particular event. So just making it
Well,
more available to the entire community.
those are great goals, and we look forward to seeing more cafes, more scholarly cafes around the district. Thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate it. This is Dr. Terri Blackmon, founder of the Scholarly Cafe, as well as an HCC biology professor. We'll have more information about the event tomorrow and the cafe itself after the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a great morning.
All right. Up next, after a commercial break, Amy will visit with our Mental Health Monday guest about campus red zones.
When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
And we're back. I want to take a minute to thank Nick and Terri, Dr. Terri Blackmon, for that wonderful interview. And also, we're going to have her back because she is so amazing that she is also organizing International STEM Day at Central Campus for November. So we want to make sure we get her back to get information about that. But next, I'm happy to be joined by Maya DeConge, Outreach and Education Advocate for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, Inc. Welcome, Maya.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
It's great to talk to you this morning. And I know our topic is serious and important for all of our community to hear about. Let's begin with the definition of the red zone on a college campus.
Right, yes. So we know that fall semester of college has just kicked off, right? So the red zone is actually that time period spanning from a fall semester on campus through Thanksgiving break. We know that in this period of time, more than 50% of sexual assaults and sexual violence can occur on a college campus.
That is really fascinating, and it's not something that I've ever heard of before. So I'm really glad to have you here speaking about this topic today. I feel like someone in my position should really know about this. Is there anything that indicates? I mean, I know it's the beginning of the semester. Is it particularly toward like students who are going away to college for the first time, or are those statistics sort of cross the classes and the age groups?
I mean, so we know that, especially women ages 18 to 24 are actually 3 times more likely than women in general, especially if they're college students, to experience sexual violence. But we also know that whether you are a freshman on campus or any other, academic place on campus, that it's an exciting new experience, right, to be on a college campus. We know that it's filled with meeting new people, new opportunities. There's this sense of new independence and growth, right? Learning, but it's also a time where maybe freshmen are learning campus, they're learning campus resources. They're in orientation trying to figure out all these campus resources. And then we also know it is a found time for parties, whether it be, joining sororities, fraternities, athletic events, right? We know that stems all through a college experience.
Yeah, and I have 5 daughters, so I put 3, 2.5 through school. So it's this really hits home for me, and I really I think about all of those things. And you think that you send them off and that you've educated them and that you've planned things, but I just think like there's also sort of this sense of I know what I'm doing, and also you can still be vulnerable. So can you tell us more what that red zone looks like on a college campus?
Yeah, so I also was a college student. My mom sent me off to college, so I know that fear, right? So yes, during that time, like we said, orientation where you learn things about important, campus resources. You learn about the health center. You learn about, Title IX resources, right? So we know that it is an extreme navigating time. And so, being equipped with those resources, and then also still knowing that college is that wonderful experience, right? It's supposed to be what I talked about. It's supposed to be that time for growth, that time for independence. And yes, it is that time for meeting new people and maybe going to some parties, right? All of that is what that red zone may look like on campus, where it kind of puts people almost in maybe more of a vulnerable place, right? And we know that it is never a survivor's fault, right? That's something that we know, but we know that is something that through the red zone, what it could look like on a college campus, especially for college freshmen.
So let's talk about that a little bit, about consent and victim blaming, because I think we want to encourage students to get out and meet people and and be part of their community, and also we want them to be safe. So can you talk a little bit about consent and that idea that nobody asked for this, it's nobody's choosing this for themselves, right?
Yes. So, ways that we can support survivors is definitely challenging the victim blaming, right? And victim blaming is when a survivor is made to feel responsible for what happened. And again, we know that it was never their fault. They are never responsible, right? So no matter what situation they were in, it was never their fault. And then we also know that through this, a good way to kind of prevent the red zone, right, is that consent that you just talked about. So Planned Parenthood has this really cool acronym, FRIES. And FRIES stands for freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, and specific. Right. So through that, we like to use that acronym a lot in our trainings and our facilitations to really show what consent looks like on a campus. So how can we bring this acronym and consent into our conversations on campus, maybe into orientation on campus, right? Into classrooms on campus, maybe in the first year experience classes. We see that as kind of a way that we can prevent the red zone. And then also through our protective factors. We know that our protective factors are things like empathy, equity, community support and connection, and then also supporting someone's emotional well-being.
Yeah, that's really fantastic information. And I think the more that is in the public conversation and you see that modeled in the media, on TV and videos and things like that, I think that's so important for our youth, our college students to see what consent looks like. So you talked a little bit about supporting survivors. What resources are there for survivors? And also, if you could maybe go back a little bit and talk about the reversible, the R.
Yes. So reversible. So reversible, the R in FRIES is actually knowing that any encounter that you have with a person, right? And I even sometimes will explain it in a non-sexual way. And so especially when we think about how we explain this maybe to young people in general. So, a sexual encounter or anything that we require consent for is absolutely reversible, meaning that at any point in time, that consent can be revoked, right? And we know that, consent isn't always verbal. So we need to make sure to watch people's body language. It's not always a yes or a no, right? And so that's where reversible can come into play and be a very important factor in consent. So thank you for asking that. And then also, yes, how can we support our survivors? Whether it be a local crisis center in the area, like the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, campus resources, right? So Title IX office, knowing who your Title IX coordinator on campus is really important. Everyone has one. Just even explaining what Title IX is in orientation can be extremely important, because oftentimes people don't know what Title IX is and they don't know that it applies to them, right? So I think that is also a very valuable resource. And then also RAIN.org. They have a national sexual assault hotline that is 24 hours and confidential. So also knowing our resources that are confidential and non-confidential. So that way, people that are seeking these resources can fully equip to make their decision and their options as well.
That's wonderful information. And we have to wrap, and I want to let people know that the Bridge Over Troubled Waters provides therapy services, and that we will have information in our post after the show how potential clients can connect with you. And I want to thank you so much, Maya DeConge, Outreach and Education Advocate for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, and our Mental Health Monday guest. Really pleased and appreciate your coming here to talk about this serious subject and provide this important information.
No, thank y'all. It's great to come together to talk about these things, because we know that when we talk about them, it's important, right? And the more we talk about them, the easier it gets to have the conversation. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks again. And coming up after a quick commercial break, Nick and I will return with some news and announcements.
When I grow up, I want to work at a school so I can be a teacher.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
And we're back with some news, events, and announcements. To start us off, We Care Lunch and Learn sessions are coming up. HCC is hosting a series of We Care and Mosaic and Me lunch and learn sessions to connect, learn, and support the Caring Campus initiative. And there are going to be giveaways, so you want to be there for those. They are all from noon to 1 p.m. And the next one that is coming up is Tuesday, that's tomorrow, September 17th at Felix Fraga campus. That's part of our HCC Southeast College. And then Thursday, September 19th is going to be at Katy campus. So see our post after the show for a link to register. They're going to be all over the system, so you can look for the one at the campus closest to you.
Well, would you like to pamper yourself at our Alief-Bissonnet campus? HCC's cosmetology program is now offering free facials at that Alief-Bissonnet campus on Tuesdays, starting tomorrow. These offer a moment of pampering and self-care for you. They provide students with some experience, and they give faculty and staff a little break from the daily grind. Again, this is starting tomorrow, Tuesday the 17th at the Alief-Bissonnet campus. Check our post after the show for more information.
I feel like that's going to be very popular.
We should do it.
Yes, to figure out when I can fit that in my schedule. We are also having an automotive career fair that is going to be at HCC Northeast. This month, HCC offers an opportunity to connect students with employers who have jobs, co-ops, and internships in transportation technicians, auto body collision repair, and transportation mechanics. That event is going to be from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Wednesday, September 18th at our Northeast campus. The post after the show is going to have all the information, and that also relates to our work study positions.
That's right. If you are out there and you want to earn while you learn, consider a work study position. Students who are eligible for work study can apply with financial aid today. They can secure a position, possibly even in your field of study, and while in school, you can earn $15 an hour. Check our post after the show for more information.
That is not bad. $15 an hour is what some college graduates are making, so I'm glad to hear that. Convocation is coming. We will not have Up to the Minute later this week because HCC's convocation will be held on Friday. That's this Friday, September 20th. HCCTV's crew will be prepping and working the ceremony. So Up to the Minute will not air this Thursday and this Friday. We will be broadcasting best of episodes on HCCTV, so you can still tune in to catch one of our fantastic previous episodes. So no Up to the Minute on Thursday or Friday. That's this week, September 19th and 20th, but we will be excited to return on Monday, September 23rd.
All right. Well, last announcement, I think it's registration continues even in the fall. Second Start began today, but there are smaller, later sessions, including the second 8 weeks and some occasional 4-week and 5-week sessions in some programs. Registration for the fall is still open. HCC courses are offered in a range of modalities, including online anytime, online on a schedule with virtual meetings, in-person traditional classes, as well as hybrids that are a mix of in-person and online. And of course, we also have hybrid labs as well. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover your costs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
And thanks for being here with me, Nick. It's always great to see you on Monday morning.
It was good.
Well, coming up tomorrow, HCC's International Services will host an event with someone known as the Moon Man of India, and they'll both be here to talk about it. And later this week, the president of Coleman College will be here to discuss the new Midtown location. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.